Hi everyone, and welcome back to another edition of my videos. And apologies firstly for not uploading the past couple of weeks. It's been a little bit busy at work recently, so I've just been putting off making some videos. But I'm also trying to work on a big project at the minute for my chess channel. So you've got that to look forward to. So once I've got that up and running, it'll probably take me another month or so to get that video up. But it should be quite exciting when it does come up. In any case, I wanted to just post up a video. This particular one was a game that I played recently. I actually played extremely well in this one. Very happy with my play. And yeah, I guess I'll go into the game, I suppose. So I was playing as white, and prior to this game, I'd done some scouting on my opponents, and I noticed that he played quite an unusual opening, known as the Black Two Knights Tango. It's also known as the Mexican defense, after Carlos Torres, I believe, who was a Mexican grandmaster, a very strong player. So in any case, I thought, okay, I'll prepare against this line because his other way he played against e4 was with the Sicilian, and I thought, well, okay, let's not get too much into a theoretical battle here. Let's play against this slightly offbeat line and see if we can get a good edge against it. And I was looking online, and it's clear actually you can get quite a good edge against this particular system. So that's what I decided to do. So I played d4 here. Knight to f6, c4, knight to c6. Okay, so we've got this weird two knights tango variation going on here. So black is just focusing on getting his knights out. So he's better developed than you, but of course he's got no pawns to help defend his knights from an attack from a pawn, let's say. Now, key mistake that I was looking at was pushing here with d5. And a problem with this move is then white's pawns are a little bit overextended. I guess it's not bad for black. You get this weird thing where you end up kind of overextending, a bit like a sort of Halakein's defense. And I guess it's playable for white, but I didn't want to get into that sort of territory. I think that would play into black's favour. A much better line that I found online was this knight to f3 idea. So just holding on to the pawn momentarily, but also stopping this e5 advance. This is in black's favour. He wants to try and open up the centre because he's better developed than you. So his pieces are going to just take apart your centre very easily. So here e6 was played, which is the main line again. Knight to c3, bishop b4. And queen to c2, so it's almost like a Nimzo-Indian now after d6. So we pretty much near about transpose into a classical Nimzo-Indian. So what's nice about this for whites is I'm holding on to this pawn. You can't really double this up. And I want to try and get this bishop to capture this knight on unfavourable terms. So the main line continues bishop to d2. And essentially I'm going to be ready to play a6 next move, where when this bishop captures back, we capture back, we don't double up our pawns. And notice as well, this bishop has nowhere it can run to, so it can't just retreat back, as you'll see in a minute. So anyway, he castles. I play a3. He has to capture here. As I say, if he tries to go back here, I can push forward with b4. This bishop is just going to get lost. So this is no good for black. So he kind of takes my knight with a slightly unfavourable terms. He's not doubling up anything. I've got a nice position out of it. I've not compromised my position in any way by doubling up my pawns. And actually with this a3 idea, and I was looking at a few games, I'm preparing a b4 now as well. So I can expand on the queen side and try and do some damage to black. So queen to c7. This is still mainline theory in this. There's been, I think, about 300 games from master positions from this. So I think actually this two knights tango is really not a terrible system. You can certainly get into some interesting, and it kind of transposes a lot sometimes into other main lines like Nimzo-Indians, King's Indian stuff. So it's really not terrible. Anyway, so e3 was played. And this has the idea, I want to get my bishop here and castle. So that's basically it. I'd love to. You can play e4 here. I just wonder what's so wrong about this. So there's been, well, it's interesting. There's been 28 games from this position, but White's won quite a lot of them. So the point is you can do e5 here and you can push here. And the knight has to then go back to b8. So maybe I'll look at this next time when I play this line. But I wanted to play e3. I thought it looked a little bit safer for now, and I can prepare. After the bishop, compare it. But I think I kind of lose a tempo there. Now, the whole idea with e3 and what I expected to see played against me was e5, but here he plays b6, a very odd move. I didn't think this was any good. I think this is probably a slight inaccuracy already, although the engine says it's a good move. This is an excellent move. The main line goes e5, and this is the idea. You push this knight back. This knight has not really anywhere it can go to. It has to go back to b8. So already it looks pretty good for white. And now the main line continues with knight to d2. So now preparing this idea. But black can counter with c6. And unfortunately, you can't really hold on to this pawn much longer, because this is our whole point. Once this pawn goes onto the 5th rank, or any of these pawns go to the 5th rank, black can start attacking it, and this is always the danger with this line. But in any case, so you capture here, knight captures back, and bishop to d3. Black's position is still fine. I think this is absolutely fine. I can still think about expanding on the queen side, castling here, and not to mention as well, I've got the bishop there, so I've still got a nice nagging edge in this position. Okay, so that didn't happen in the game, and I expected it to happen because he'd actually played this line before with e5, but he didn't. Here he played b6, and already I was thinking, oh, okay, this doesn't look right, this move. So I was then thinking about, well, what do I play here? Do I expand? Do I play my bishop here? And I think I just decided again. I decided against b4 just yet. I thought, okay, we'll save that in the bag for now. Let's just develop, get ourselves castled, and have a nice position. So I put my bishop here first, which I think is the best move. And now I'm aiming on this h7 square. Bishop to b7 was played. So I was very, very happy to see this move, as now I had a nice tactic here to win a pawn, and also butcher black's king side. So I'd noticed that this knight here was the only defender of this h7 square. So I thought to myself, okay, if I remove this knight out the way, then this pawn then falls on h7. So I then also noticed, well, I've got this bishop here, and if this pawn were to move, well, this bishop could then take this knight. So here I decided to go d5. And the problem, you probably think to yourself, well, I'm going to be losing a pawn here, right? So after e takes, I then captured the knight, queen captures, and then I took here on h7. And notice, as I say, the king is under attack here, so the king has to move to h8. It's the only move. And here I played c takes on d5. So I'm up a pawn in this position, but it's not so easy to hold on to this pawn. Here my opponent played knight to e5, which I didn't expect would happen. I thought he was going to maybe play knight to e7, and I thought this would just hold on to the pawn. And I thought this is absolutely fine for black. Against this, I would have just played bishop to e4, just holding on momentarily, because I've got to be careful what I do with this bishop. If I do something stupid like e4, the king just takes and he's doing really well. If, let's say, I castle, that's also probably a big mistake here. Yeah, the engine says a mistake. G6 comes in, and the bishop's trapped. So I've got to be a bit careful with this bishop. So, but anyway, so I was expecting this, and I think I was going to say, okay, well, I'll try and hold on to the pawn as best I can. I don't see what's wrong with him just capturing here now. What's so bad about this? No, it doesn't say it's that bad. So yeah, this would be a sort of potential position. I guess the nice thing for me here, and probably why I've got the edge, is the king is quite exposed here. But I don't know if it's very clear what I would do. I mean, I would love to castle, but I then lose a little bit of the potential with this rook, I suppose. But I guess castling here would probably be fine, and then just enjoy the fact that this king is a little bit exposed. So anyway, going back. So that didn't happen in the game. His knight went to e5, which I didn't expect. So I put my bishop back, and here, again, I don't think this was a particularly great move. He captured this knight, which I think just helped me tremendously in this position. I captured back my bishop. His queen came to here, and at this point, I had a bit of a difficult decision to make. I wanted to hold on to this pawn, because it's a bit of a pain, this pawn. But I was trying to decide how I wanted to hold on to it. Now, the best move according to the engine, actually probably something I maybe should have considered, which is playing rook to d1. So rook to d1 makes sense. You're holding on to the pawn. You can't capture back. So I did a lot of calculating in this position. Actually, I think it's kind of unnecessary, in fact, in retrospect. But I castled long, which I think is good. But the problem with this move is he has this bit of counterplay with c6. And this potential skewer against my king. But I felt with this move, I guess I have this idea as well. So I've got little counter threats that he has to prepare for as well. Now here he played c6, which the computer says is a mistake. Actually thinks this is a bit too early here. Here I played rook to d4. This is a really clever idea. If he was to ever capture this pawn, he's going to find himself getting checkmated in 3 moves. So rook to h4 with check. And notice here, he's got nothing he can do with the king. If the king goes here, you're going to checkmate him 1. So you'd have to sacrifice the queen, takes back, king here. So that was my idea. So I had this little cheeky threat. So he has to play g6 now. And now I now took this pawn. So this is a lot of this was all calculating. I had to spend a bit of time thinking about this because I needed to work out, okay, is this safe? Can I do this move? Because lots of little tactics here. His rook came to c8, and now I put my king to b1. So I need to get out of this. I can't capture this, of course, because the rook would just take my queen. So now I put my king to b1, and it's nice and safe here now. So c1 really not a great square, but b1 I think it's fine. It should be able to survive on this square. And to top it all off, I've still got this absolute thorn in the side of black pawn here that really limits black space, and it's. Essentially, as long as I can hold on to this pawn, I'm winning the game. There's nothing he can do about this pawn, and it's really, as I say, it's so far advanced. He can even, think about pushing further and further, and even thinking about sort of queening as well. So this is a really difficult pawn for him to shift, and he tries to spend a lot of time trying to shift it because that's really the only thing he can do in this position. So here he puts his king to c7, so he's preparing this doubling. I put my rook to d1, so I'm now hitting this pawn. He now puts his other rook to c8. It's actually entombs this bishop now, which will be important in a bit. But after I capture here, so now I'm holding onto the pawn now momentarily. He puts his queen to e8, so now attacking it 4 times now. Notice again, I can never capture this bishop just yet. It's a bit poisonous, this bishop, because obviously the queen is still hanging. Now here I throw in the check, which I actually don't think is all that accurate. It does say it's the best move, but I think here, a better move potentially might have been just rook to c1 here. I think this is okay. I don't think I needed to kick this king just yet. But let's have a look what the computer says about this. Any minute now. It says it's good. So actually, maybe it was the best move. So I played the best move then. There we go. His king came to g8. I put my rook to c1. His queen came to e7. So now I'm trying to hit this rook. But I kept it cool here. I say I kept it cool. The next move was actually an accuracy, but I thought this was the best move because bear in mind I've got a very good position now. I'm up 3 pawns. I'm going to be winning the position here, so I just put my queen to f6, force off the exchange. King came to f8, and now I play my bishop to g4. Really powerful move. It's something I didn't see actually earlier on, but basically this rook has nowhere it can go to. it's going to be attacked by this bishop. If it moves out the way, then I can then actually take this bishop safely now. So he decides to capture off. I did this last little trick with this bishop. If I took this, if I took it this way, yeah, wouldn't be a good thing. I would have a very bad position. So I took this way, which wins. After he took here, I took this rook now, and the rook took back here. I took back the king. King to e7, and I put my bishop to a6. He resigned at this point. It's a totally one position. I'm at 5 points of material. I've got a bishop as well to try and nab these pawns off the board, and a totally winning king and pawn ending. So anyway, I thought it was a really interesting game. I think what was really fascinating about it, in terms of my reports at the end of this, I'd actually played incredibly high accuracy, 99.1% accuracy, which I don't normally get in my games. And my opponent didn't play terribly either. Apart from, obviously, there was a couple mistakes and the one blunder, he actually still scored a respectable 77.1% accuracy, which was really, really good. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little game. As I say, just to keep you tied over for that time being, I thought I'll show you this game. But otherwise, I will see you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.